Hi, everyone. Happy Disability Pride Month. My name is Nico Meyering. I use he, him pronouns. I am a white man with blonde hair, large dark glasses, wearing a dark blue shirt, seated in front of a purple background. I am honored to be joined this time by my friend Chris Mitchell. Chris, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, thank you for having me here, Nico, and honored. Oh man, my head is getting large. I am a Caucasian male. I wear glasses. I'm wearing a vibrant blue polo shirt, that is, and a vibrant blue baseball hat. On my polo shirt and my hat in white lettering is the hashtag symbol followed by DFYS. Underneath that is hashtag define yourself, which is my brand. Behind me is a virtual background, which is a really nice darker blue, almost navy blue, with a little nice white border along the bottom. So you have something to look at besides my face.
One thing I appreciate about Chris, I was on Chris's podcast a little while ago, is that he is so on point with his branding and his marketing. You always know what you're going to get. Chris, thank you for joining me today.
Very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Of course. What does disability pride mean to you?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that question. And I watched a couple of the other interviews you did with the wonderful people who participated in this project of yours. And my answer, unfortunately, well, maybe unfortunately or fortunately, is kind of short. It means to be proud of who you are, including all your flaws. Everyone, whether they're disabled or not, has flaws, has imperfections, because none of us is perfect. And we all need to be proud of who we are, accept it, and own it. And we should not just be prideful the month of July or the month of October when it's Disability Employment Awareness Month. We should be proud 365 days a year, and on certain years, 366 days. Don't take leap day off. We should always be proud of who we are because we have so much to offer the world, and we all should realize that regardless of our disability, visible, invisible, or if we don't have one at all.
Chris, that is such a succinct and excellent answer. Pride doesn't take time off. There is a poem by a disabled poet, and I think the title is You Get Proud by Practicing. And it relates so strongly to the concept of disability pride, where you get prouder by practicing, by joining a disabled community, by learning disability history, by understanding that simply by virtue of being disabled, we are innovative, we are resourceful, we are hardworking, because we inhabit a world that is not always made for us. What is one thing you want non-disabled people to know about disability life?
Before I answer that excellent question, I'd like to just add one thing to what you were saying.
Of course.
Regarding that we face challenges, obstacles, adversities, limitations, and setbacks. One good thing about being disabled is we are excellent problem solvers. So to somebody out there who needs a problem solver, connect with somebody who's disabled. We're great at that. And I have ADHD as well as some of my other disabilities. And ADHD people are great at problem creating as well. We are double gifted. Now, back to your question of what I would want. Correct me if I got this wrong, the non-disabled world to know about disabled people. Is that basically what you're asking me?
Yes, it is.
Okay, there's nothing I want to tell them or want them to know, because I don't do it that way. I believe each disabled person, including myself, the way that we live our lives and the way that we handle ourselves, problem solve, overcome challenges, speaks more volumes than me preaching to somebody in the non-disabled community that they need to be more empathetic and understanding me. Every community can say, people don't understand me. Everyone, whether it's the disabled community, the LGBTQ plus community, whatever community, race, ethnicity, we all just need to be the best that we can be and be an ambassador for our community. People hold doors open for me because I'm physically challenged. I walk for rollator, and longer distances I use a motorized scooter. And sometimes they open up doors I'm not going to go through. And now I take that as an opportunity to be very grateful and appreciative of them. And that leaves that non-disabled person a positive attitude image of myself and everyone else in the disabled community. So for disabled community people, instead of us preaching, we just need to make every interaction we have with other people without disabilities the best possible experience, so they will form on their own a positive image of the disabled community, and we don't have to go knocking on doors like um, a door-to-door solicitor or a politician trying to convince them. We're doing it by our words and our actions.
I love what you're saying about living our values and embodying the perspectives that we want to carry forward. Thank you, Chris. This isn't actually a perspective that I've heard before during this project. So I am really grateful to you for pointing that out. Obviously, the disabled experience, it has no one experience or perspective or culture. It has just many multifaceted moving parts. So I'm really grateful to hear this from you. What are some lessons that being disabled has taught you?
The biggest lesson it taught me, now, a little backstory here.
Sure.
Now, when I was in my mid-30s, I went in for a ascending to descending aortic bypass. During that operation, I survived an ischemic stroke to my spinal cord. So before that point, I had more invisible disabilities, my ADHD, unless if I shut off my big mouth. And I'm visually impaired. I'm legally blind, 2200 in my left eye, 2300 in my right. And you would not know I was legally blind unless you saw me hold a cell phone or a book real close to my eyes. Now, before my spinal cord injury, which robbed me the ability to run, walk, or initially even stand, I thought asking for help was a sign of weakness. It is not. It is actually a sign of strength, because no one can achieve anything in this world just by themselves. And by having that opportunity to ask for help, again, going back to what I was talking about earlier, we're able to forge a good reputation and a good positive experience with the non-disabled community. And guys, if you're single, this is a great way to meet girls. Okay, and girls, it's a great way to meet guys too. Um, the really short funny story, well, maybe not funny. I as I mentioned, I was visually impaired, and I used a white cane to get around. And I started dating, and I got a lot of rejections because of my disability, and that hurt. But I found a girl. She's a wonderful girl. She saw beyond that. She saw who I was. And I bet you, we were engaged at the time I had my ischemic stroke, my spinal cord. If she did not accept my visual disability, if that was not there and she did not know that, I might have been with another woman who would have left me the day I was in the hospital, confined to a bed and unable to even turn myself or feed myself. So your disability really is a superpower. I know I took this answer much further than you intended, but I think I'm done now. So I'll let you have the microphone for a while.
Well, it doesn't really matter how long you talk for. This is an open-ended conversation, and this is an open forum. I love what you were talking about in terms of communicating our needs. Having that communication skill serves you well, as you point out, in your personal life, and then also in your professional life.
Mhm.
One thing that I've always been surprised about when I began working full-time is how almost every project in the work world is a group project, and that necessitates good communication, speaking about what you can do and what you can't do, so that your teammates and your coworkers always know what's going on. Having that level of visibility is a big bonus, and that helps you professionally and personally. Wonderful. And finally, what have you had to unlearn as a result of being disabled?
I had to unlearn. Not a lot I had to unlearn. I had to relearn a lot of things and
Okay,
saw things in a different way.
okay,
When I had my ischemic stroke, I had to relearn how to get into a car which we all take for granted. If we're able-bodied people, bam, you pop in there. But there's a lot of steps you had to learn to do. And I had to do a lot of problem solving. Getting stuff in the house became more of a challenge. So I had to unlearn the way I did it before and learn new ways, because we talked about this earlier. We're great problem solvers, how to get stuff into the house. And I came up with some very creative ways to manipulate and move things. I I have drawstring backpacks. I put stuff on and carry it around. I just look at a situation and learn how to do it. I taught myself how to walk with a walker. My insurance gave up on me, but I wasn't giving up on myself. I taught myself how to walk pushing a grocery cart at Target because I wanted to ride the scooter in the store instead of having my wife push me in a wheelchair. So I relearned that. So I had to unlearn how I used to walk before, and now I had to relearn it because now with a walker, you got to be more aware of curve cuts and dips in the road and obstacles, and be prepared. I don't have any kids, but kids are very unpredictable and they like to just dart right in front of you. You got to learn how to maneuver that before you have a parent screaming at you and suing you for hurting their child. So I had to unlearn some of the ways that I would just zip through places and relearn how to do it safely for myself and for people around me.
I love what you're saying about there being all kinds of different ways to get done what you need to do. And that level of innovation and that level of flexible thinking is also what makes us so good at problem solving in the personal world and the professional world.
I took a class in college, and it was a Psych 51 class, or a very introductory psychology course. And the teacher was talking about there's two types of thinking: fixed thinking and functional thinking. Fixed thinking, we look at a hammer and we see it can nail in a hammer in a nail. Functional thinking is that hammer can also put a door in the wall if you want one. Don't do that at home, but it could do that. And I realized as disabled people, we are excellent functional thinkers because we can look at something and see so many other uses for it that other people may not be able to see. And it helps us overcome what we are challenged with to do whatever we want to do in life. Because I don't see myself as disabled. I see myself as a man that can do anything anyone else can do. I just got to find creative ways to do it. And I love that challenge to find creative ways to succeed.
Chris, you are the excellent person to run the Define Yourself YouTube channel and the Define Yourself brand, because your entire life long, you've had to define yourself, and also not just define yourself in a one and done situation. As you point out, you had to define yourself after your spinal cord injury as well.
We all do that every single day, whether we have a disability or not. What we do, what our actions are, what our values are, and the words that we speak, we're defining who we are. We're defining our own personal brands. Every one of us does that every single day. We just don't realize it. So shh, it's a secret. Don't tell anybody.
I won't tell anyone except the people who happen to watch this video.
Right.
It's true. We show who we are and we show our values by our actions and our words. So
very true.
We show people who we are and we tell people who we are. Chris, where can people find you online? And do you have anything coming up that you want to promote?
Yes. Where you can find me online is my website is the best place to go because it's everything on it. Well, maybe not everything, but it's all the ways you can connect with me. That website is thechrismitchell.com. Allow me to spell that. THE for the Chris, CHRIS, Mitchell, MITCHELL.com. On there, you will be able to find the links to my LinkedIn profile, my Facebook profile, my Twitter profile, and my personal YouTube channel. You can also find my brand, #Define Yourself, on social media, including LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and its own YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is really cool because I have a lot of podcast episodes on there, because I host a podcast called the Successful and Disabled Podcast. And somebody on the screen besides me has been a guest on that podcast, and he did a wonderful job. And you can view all those podcasts at defineyourselftv.com. That takes you right to the YouTube channel. And if you're more of an auditory person, I got your back. Go to successfulanddisabled.com, and that has all the audio versions of those podcasts. And a new podcast drops every single week. And I also am putting together, it's going to be released in a few days. I came up with 23 ways
Mhm.
our disabilities empower us and prepare us to become successes in life. It's a free ebook that I'm going to be releasing, and the domain is there, and it's going to be live probably by the time this drops within a few days. And I don't know that domain off the top of my head. I should have prepared for that. But you connect with me through my on social media, through my website, or email me at chris@thechrismitchell.com. I can give you that link, and you can get that free ebook, the 23 ways disabilities gives us the tools we need to succeed in all aspects of our lives.
Wow, Chris Mitchell, professional author. Look at that. So
We've
when
not even talked about my actual book I've written called It Doesn't Define Me, which is how I battled back and rebuilt my life after my ischemic stroke to my spinal cord. That's available on Amazon.
Excellent. I hadn't known. So here's what I'll do. I will put a link to your website in the description for this video, and there people will be able to find all of your projects, all of your visibility opportunities. It sounds like you have a wonderful media empire already. I
Oh,
am
yeah.
in awe of your productivity, sir.
Watch out, CNN.
Watch out, CNN. Here comes Chris Mitchell.
I'm going to be bigger than CNN.
It has been a joy to speak with you today, Chris. Thank you so
It's
much.
been an honor to be on this project, and happy Disability Pride Month and Disability Pride Life 365 a year.
Thank you. Happy Disability Pride Life to you as well.